And viewers, it's a big statement of intent made by the Modi Sarkar. After 4 years of Jammu and Kashmir's complete integration with India, the government has informed Supreme Court that they are prepared to hold elections in the Union Territory at any time. Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, who represented the government, stated that the voter list updating process has reached a significant point and will be completed soon. The Valley Netas, however, say that despite the centre claiming normalcy in the region, it's still dilly-dallying on conducting polls. Listen in.
गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया 4 साल के बाद भी अभी कोई टाइमलाइन देने के लिए तैयार नहीं है। एक तरफ से कहते हैं कि हालात ठीक हैं, आपको G20 दिखाते हैं, मिस वर्ल्ड दिखाते हैं, बाकी चीज़ें दिखाते हैं, लेकिन दूसरे तरफ से कहते हैं कि हालात अभी रियासत बनाने के लिए जो है वो मौजू नहीं है। तो कहीं ना कहीं उनके कहने और करने में फ़र्क है। जहाँ तक इलेक्शन की बात, मेहरबानी करके कोई ना कोई तो फैसला करिए। सेंटर और इलेक्शन कमीशन मिलके बैठ के फैसला करिए।
In fact, the BJP has maintained that the centre will hold polls once the Election Commission gives the nod. Listen into these reactions.
भारत सरकार जम्मू कश्मीर में इलेक्शन कराने के लिए तैयार है और ये प्रेरोगेटिव इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया का है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी पहले से ही कह चुकी है कि ये जो प्रोसेस एक चल रहा है, डिलिमिटेशन का प्रोसेस था, अब इलेक्टोरल जो है उसकी रिवीजन का था। जब भी प्रोसेस पूरा होता है तो इलेक्शन के लिए तैयार हैं। तो मुझे लगता है कि जम्मू कश्मीर में जल्द लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्था दोबारा से बनेगी और भारत सरकार इसके लिए तत्पर है। ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट में कह दिया गया है।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us on the panel at the moment are Sushil Pandit, activist. Also with us is advocate Neelufar Masood. Vivek Srivastava and Shazia Elmi continue to be with us. Let me begin with you, Neelufar Masood, and request all our panelists to keep their comments brief because we have limited time. Advocate Neelufar Masood, why would you not believe what the centre has said before the Supreme Court, before the Chief Justice of India, who was also talking about the restoration of democracy and conduct of elections? If the government has assured that the ball is in the ECI's court, why would you not take that at face value?
See, Madhav, we have been hearing it from last 5 years. That's right, from 2018 that the elections will be held. We have filed the writ petition before the Honorable Supreme Court only seeking the abrogation which was done on 5th and 6th August 2019 to be declared as unconstitutional. Illegal step which was being taken. So side by side, we also want that the democracy should be restored. But right from 5 years we are having here LG's rule, the center is governing us, we people. With respect to the updating of the electoral rolls and that, it has been said by the SG that Government of India is ready for holding the elections. But if you see from last 5 years, we have been hearing it off and on that elections will be held. There seems to be some confusion between this coordination, between the this election commissioner and the center itself, because they are putting the ball in the court of the election commissioner, saying that it is he who has to say what is the actual date when the elections will be held.
Okay.
And on the other hand, center is saying that situation is good for holding the G20, then we can hold the Miss World 20 concerts in the UT.
Okay.
So once they are claiming that the situation is normal here, why
I
not
want Sushil Pandit to come in on that. Sushil Pandit, how can the situation be that you can have, Miss World, you can have various G20 events? If the situation is normal enough to hold these big ticket events with a lot of international participation, then why isn't it normal enough to hold elections, is what these parties are asking. Your response, Mr. Pandit.
Madhav, it is simple. Normalcy is a relative issue. How normal is the situation? Whether it is normal enough for politicians to come and take over the reins of the state when it is barely out of problems is the issue. For me, the litmus test of normalcy is that 500,000 people who were expelled through a genocide from Kashmir should go back to their homes in confidence, with their head held high, that they will be secured and will never be pushed out again. That is the litmus test of normalcy. Everything else is treating a symptom.
Last 5 years, how many?
If the stone pelting is down, if the encounters are down, if the killings are relatively less, then it is work in progress. It is relative normalcy.
Okay.
It is not absolute normalcy.
Okay.
Absolute normalcy is when every Kashmiri is able to live in their homes without fear of expulsion, without fear of murder. Has that normalcy come? I don't think even Centre is claiming that this is not. Normalcy is gradually coming back to Kashmir, and it cannot be risked by giving in the hands of those people who brought it to a rank abnormalcy.
Okay, let me take this across to Vivek Srivastava. Vivek Srivastava, the concerns of Sushil Pandit are there on record, and I want to ask you another. I want to add to that question. Just 1 second, Mr. Srivastava, I'm coming to you. Just listen to this question. You know, when there were by-polls held in 2017 in Srinagar for the Lok Sabha seat, you know what happened over there? 8 people were killed. 7.14% voter turnout was recorded, and the Election Commission was accused of not doing due diligence and jumping the gun. When we know that there is a history of violence during polls, would you want the Election Commission to really jump the gun if the situation is not conducive, and then again blame the government and the Election Commission for holding the elections too early?
Yeah. Now see, August 2019, the Home Minister of India, Shri Amit Shah, he declared that within a month, we are going to have normalcy in Kashmir. Then it became 3 months, then it became 6 months, then it became 1 year, and today this is the 5th year, as Nilofer ji just said. So in 5 years, the government has failed, removing 370 has failed, army is trying to run the state very undemocratically. This is not a democratic way to run a state. Why doesn't the government first restore statehood properly, and only then the elections are possible? So you are just trying to run away from the situation. I want to ask Sushil Pandit, in the last 5 years, you know, if you feel that 370 removing was successful, why have the Kashmiri Pandits still not, they are still not able to go back? Why are the Kashmiri Pandits, when they try to protest, they are being beaten by the same BJP government? Why is it happening? Does Mr. Pandit have answers to it?
Yeah, quick response. Quick response, Mr. Pandit, then I go across to Shazia. Yes.
So, I mean, and my last point.
Yeah, Mr. Srivastava, you asked a question. You asked a question. Now we have limited time, please. Yeah. Mr. Pandit is responding to you. Please listen to him.
Yeah. 70 years of sins, 70 years of free run to jihad under 370 cannot be undone in just 5 years. It is a process.
Oh, come on, what are you saying?
So you want 70 years of army to so you want the next 70 years of Kashmir to be under the army rule?
1 second, let him respond. Let him respond, please. I'm going to come to you for responses, but let him make his point, please. We have very little time left.
1990, when he came back in 96, Kashmir was back to worse. That is what 96 election did to Kashmir. After 6 years of nursing it back to normalcy,
you wanted to
coming back to election.
1 second, Vivek Srivastava, 1 second. Vivek Srivastava, let the NC spokesperson answer that. Let the NC spokesperson answer that. The situation was worse when your party was ruling in Jammu and Kashmir. Nilofer Masood, please respond.
The history is witness to it that when elections were held in 1996, situations were worse, but it was only JKNC who came forward. Dr. Farooq Abdullah Sahab, he came forward to contest the election. Nobody dared to contest your election. So he cannot say that at that time we had to wait for the normalcy, then the elections could have been held. When Article 370 was abrogated, we were given to understand that it is only impediment that Pandit brethren are not being rehabilitated here back. Now what happened?
Okay.
Why they are not being rehabilitated from the last 5 years?
Okay.
Now what is the impediment?
Okay, let me bring in Shazi Almi on that.
Impediment?
Let me bring in Shazi Almi. Shazi Almi, all panelists referring to why Kashmiri Pandits have not been rehabilitated in the valley. But I just want to read out one quote. This is a quote from Umar Abdullah. He says that democracy ends where JK begins, and this has led several opposition parties to question whether the centre wants to rule Jammu and Kashmir through president's rule, given that it is 4 years since Jammu and Kashmir has seen the abrogation of Article 370 and president's rule has been imposed.
This is exactly what the hue and cry has been all about, as to why the centre is trying to control the spirit of the land, so to speak, by imposing a lieutenant governor and taking statehood away. Now, when the central government very clearly has submitted that the exact time for restoration of statehood cannot be given, but there must be elections and we are ready for elections. Now, all these people who have been shouting and screaming for elections and wondering why the federal rights of Kashmiri citizens are being denied to them, shouldn't they be happy about this? But the fact is, they always
Happy
want to.
about what?
There is
We have
never
been
an
hearing it
answer.
from last 5 years.
They were responsible for the Kashmiri exodus of Kashmiri Pandits. But now when they know the healing is beginning, when the process is afoot, even now they do not want panchayat elections. They do not want assembly elections.
One at a time.
And they know that the development. Development councils,
the elections
which the district development councils have done
Okay.
great work.
Okay.
For
Let
the
me.
first time. And
There
they
are
know
many
that
questions.
how important it is to
There are
have
many
the
questions.
panchayat,
There are many
municipal and
questions.
assembly elections.
Yeah, there are many
people can
questions.
enjoy the
But you know,
local
Vivek
government.
Srivastava, I just want to very
But
quickly
they will
read out 2-3 statistics. Shazia, just 1 second. I'm going to come back to you. 2-3 statistics I want to read out. Stone pelting, 0 cases compared to 1767 in 2018. 45% decrease in terrorist-initiated incidents since 2018. 90.2% reduction in infiltration. 97.2% reduction in law and order incidents, so on and so forth. There are several such statistics. Is this clearly not a sign of how things have changed on ground according to you, Mr. Srivastava?
No. This is not a sign. In 10 seconds, I'll sum it up why. We had a Punjab problem, but the solution was not a central rule. The solution was winning back the trust of the people. Those people who wanted a Khalistan and making them join the Indian mainland. That is what the solution is. You can't have army for the next 70 years according to the wishes of Mr. Sushil Pandit because there is no normalcy. You have to act politically.
There are serious issues over there. There are a lot of problems with that argument. But I'll ask this of Shazia Almi. Shazia Almi, the Delimitation Commission was instituted. It was instituted after a gap of about 2.5 decades, if I'm not mistaken. That being done, shouldn't polls have been done immediately? Why go in for another summary revision and another revision?
They're just
as I said earlier, it is a process and the voter list is being updated. It is a very sensitive state, and this was said, in fact, this was argued in the court today when it was said as to how Jammu and Kashmir is different from Punjab. There actually was a submission to the effect that that while there are not so friendly neighbors around, a part of Kashmir has been taken in control by the enemy across the land.
All right. We're completely out of time. Shazia Ilmi, we'll have to leave it there. And sorry to interrupt you. Sushil Pandit, advocate, Neelafar Masood, Vivek Srivastava. Very, very important statement of intent by the centre. How quickly will we be seeing this followed through? Of course, the Election Commission has in the past, in fact, even a question to me, the CEC talking about the political vacuum, saying that they have to consider the law and order situation, the weather conditions, etc., before they take a final call on polls. But with this 3-tier poll formula, in fact, being announced by the centre, how quickly will we be seeing these actually being rolled out on ground? We'll have to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us this evening.